Hi everyone, welcome to another arts and craft video. Last week there was a chapter book reading of the Night Fairy. So for this week I'm going to be showing you how to make your own cute little fairy house. To make your fairy house, you'll need some important things, and probably the most important is you're going to need to print out a template, and you can find a link to the template in the description. This is what it's gonna look like once we cut it out, but as you can see, it just has the shapes and the measurements and the places where you'll need to fold to assemble your house. But besides that, all you'll need is some paper, a pencil, markers, and scissors. For the paper, I would recommend that you use something a little strong like cardstock for the bottom of the house, and for the top for the roof you can use construction paper or a thinner kind of decorative paper. Maybe wrapping paper would look pretty neat. But yeah, for the bottom part, since it's gonna be holding everything up, you kind of want it to be pretty sturdy. So that's my recommendation. Let's get started. So step one is pretty easy. It's just cutting out the template. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. When you're cutting out your template, just make sure that you're cutting along the solid lines and not cutting the dotted lines where we're supposed to be folding. So after you cut out the template, now we're gonna cut out the actual pieces that we're gonna be using to make the house. So take your cardstock. If you want, you can just hold the template against the page like this and then cut. Or if you want to be a little careful, you can trace it with a pencil very lightly and then cut along that. I don't mind just going ahead and doing it the first way, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. For my roof, this is where I'm gonna use decorative paper. You can mix and match what you use, the decorative paper, what you use cardstock, or you can use patterned paper for both the house and the roof, whatever you want to do. But to create some contrast, I'm going to use this bright stripe color with this plain yellow cardstock. Alright, so I finished cutting out my actual pieces that I'm going to be using as for my house. You can go ahead and start folding. The roof is really easy. You just have to fold it in half. That's probably the easiest thing you're gonna have to do for this craft. And now the house, it's a little more complicated, but it's pretty easy too. Just follow the template that you cut out to see where you're supposed to fold. So the house, you're supposed to fold like this, like that, and then you fold it again like that. This might be the tricky part because it's a little hard to estimate how thin that extra flap is gonna be. I'm holding it like this, so you can just fold it up to this part of the house. See, so there you go, there's my house. It's got the little flap. That's where we're gonna glue. But before that, you might kind of look at this and be like, it kind of looks like a house, but it's missing something. So I'm gonna show you really quick how to add windows. They don't have to be perfect. there just have to be 2 little squares. Adding the windows is probably the hardest part of this craft. This is kind of what I do to add windows. Just carefully curve it. You don't really want to fold it all the way because then it'll leave a mark on the page, but just carefully fold it, and with your scissors try and I'm kind of just nibbling at the paper until it breaks. And through that hole, just kind of cut from the inside out. If this is a little too hard for you, you can just leave your windows and your door drawn with a marker or crayon or the pencil itself, or color pencils. That'd look really nice too. For this step, go as slow as you need to. There's no rush. Alright, so I finished cutting out my windows. They're definitely a little lopsided, but that's fine. Since I drew on them with pencil, I'm gonna go ahead and make that side my inside so the outside doesn't have pencil marks. And actually, before I glue, one more thing. I'm gonna just take a marker and I'm gonna draw a little door, and you just draw an upside down U, and then a little circle for the doorknob, just like that. That's the front of my little fairy house. And the next thing to do is finally so just put a little glue on the flap and stick it to the inside. So I have my bald little fairy house. The last step is gonna be sticking the roof on, and it might be as easy as just doing that, but but obviously there's a good chance if you move it around or something, the roof is gonna get jostled and it might just fall off sometimes. I would recommend taping it together, and you can just tape it like this. Put some tape like right here and on this side. So half of it is attached to the house and half of it will attach to the roof. And then very carefully kind of piece them together. I'm holding the tape with my hand like this on the inside so it doesn't stick right away. See how I'm holding the tape? And then I'm putting the roof on top how I want it. And then I let the tape go once I find a good position. And see, it's a little uneven, so I'm just very carefully repositioning it and putting the tape back. So I wouldn't not until you're happy with how the roof looks. I would say don't press the tape too much onto the roof. I'm kind of just lying it flat on top of the tape so it sticks in place, but it's not completely stuck. I can still peel the roof off of the tape without ripping the paper. Okay, so I figured out how I wanted it. It's pretty even from all angles, and the roof is stuck on pretty good. You can always reinforce it with maybe 2 more pieces of tape, but one piece on each side should be good enough. And there you go. That's how you can make your own cute little paper fairy house. I hope you're inspired to make cool things and do cool things with it. The reason why I left the windows open and the bottom open is so you can kind of just lift it up and you can put cool stuff inside. If you want to put like little toys in there like I did. Or you can put a tea light inside, like an electric tea light, and that'll make it look like there's light coming from inside the house. It'll look like there's people living in there, and it'll look pretty cool at night. Well, that's all for now, so I'll catch you guys later.